Our goal was to make visible the landscape of ethics at our institution, to find out where ethics is taught, within which units, and how that landscape has changed over time. Our hypothesis is that knowing more about the exposure rate of ethics among undergraduates will help us diagnose to what extent they are infected with interest in ethics literacy. In turn, the data we have collected tells a story about the ethical health of our institution. It reveals to what extent its members are empowered to cultivate a culture of ethics and how well they are inoculated against ethical missteps. Our approach uses a novel institutional data analysis process to identify where ethics courses are taught within specific colleges over the previous 10-year period. And importantly, this method can be replicated at other institutions. Now, it could be argued that the approach is limited because it emphasizes intracurricular, explicit ethics education, but excludes implicit extracurricular ethics trainings. But we argue that our methodological focus on courses is justified because students will recognize the importance of ethics if and only if it occupies a place of prominence within the curriculum. Additionally, our focus on courses better reveals a faculty-driven, bottom-up focus on ethics that can help institutions identify changes that may weaken or strengthen the public health of ethical cultures.
We identify three key reasons for the gap in the literature around our question how and where ethics is taught. The first of these is the complexity of institutions, including their curricular density and the ways in which disciplines are divided up, which continue to be significant barriers to coherence and consistency of ethics education. The second is connotation, or the meaning of ethics, across and among disciplines and institutions. That's a second barrier framed by existing literature. Do we take ethics to be codes or cases or theories or mentoring or values in general? What does ethics mean to each discipline? The third is collaboration. How do we approach engagement with ethics at the disciplinary level? Do we integrate ethics into disciplinary courses, or do we take an interdisciplinary approach, leaning on engagement with ethics expertise outside of the discipline?
For this study, we looked at undergraduate courses longitudinally over a 10-year period from 2008 to 2018. We define ethics courses as those that include a variant of ethic or moral in either their course title or course description. The course data was taken from undergraduate course catalogs that UCF publishes each year. Our methods faced at least three limitations. First, there was no simple way to access all the courses from WebCourses, so we were not able to check the course syllabi and content. Second, we cannot determine if ethics content appeared within a specific lecture, if ethics-relevant topics like safety, integrity, or professional codes of ethics were embedded in other course content, or if students had paracurricular opportunities to engage ethics outside of the published curriculum. Third, we do not have data from graduate-level courses, which are 5,000 level or higher, or from courses with credit hours that vary. The goal of our research was to answer 4 questions. What percentage of total courses in the catalog are ethics courses? What percentage of total courses actually offered are ethics courses? What percentage of total courses listed in the catalog in a particular college are ethics courses? And within a specific college, what percentage of courses actually offered are ethics courses? In order to answer these questions, we organized information from the course catalogs and enrollment data into simple Excel spreadsheets, and then wrote a Java project that analyzes this information. We chose to use spreadsheets to input data because this format is widely available to others who might want to implement the methods and Java project reported in the full paper.
We were able to draw many conclusions about the ethics landscape at our institution, and here we will only highlight one or two to give a sense of the power of the approach. Looking at the graph, it's immediately obvious that the bulk of courses on ethics reside in the College of Arts and Humanities. When we drilled down below the college level, we found that many of those courses were in fact offered through the philosophy department. So in that sense, our institutional landscape is rather conventional. Yet it was intriguing to find that the landscape changed little across the 10-year period of analysis, despite growing calls during that period nationally for more implicit and explicit trainings in ethics within STEM and health sciences. We do see modest increases in the ethics course offerings in the College of Education and the College of Health and Public Affairs, and surprisingly, even slight declines in ethics offerings in the colleges of engineering and the sciences. But we found this was only part of the story, because not all courses on the books are actually offered. We identified some units for which ethics courses on the books grew over time, yet ethics course offerings actually declined, as though the ethics vaccine was available but not being widely distributed. And we found antithetical cases in which a college created an entirely new course focused on ethics and professional development to support a new ABET accredited degree. These and other interesting outcomes are documented in an upcoming publication, the reference for which is provided at the end of this presentation. We encourage you to have a look at the paper, and we hope you will contact us with your feedback and ideas for extending the work.
Our initial hypothesis was that knowing more about the exposure rate of ethics among undergraduate students would inform to what extent they're infected with ethics. The epidemiological study we've conducted examines only undergraduate courses that explicitly called out ethic or moral in their titles and descriptions, a single measure of a complex public health issue. We argue that pro-ethics inoculation at research institutions was shaped by issues of complexity, connotation, and collaboration. These issues make assessment of where ethics is taught all the more difficult. We leaned on this public health analogy to describe our approach to this problem of where ethics is taught for two reasons. First, the methodologies used in studying disease transmission and curricular mapping are parallel, although of course their content differs. Second, we did so to articulate a deeper premise, namely that ethics education is itself a public health issue. Values and their conflicts charge our social and political landscapes, change ways we live and act in our environments, and shape the nature and future of our relationships. Building ethics literacy in our students, helping them more clearly identify, deeply engage with, and richly act on reasoned values, builds a sort of social, political, and personal engagement that continues to be the broad target of education.
There are many opportunities to extend this work, and our strongest hope is that you, our colleagues, will find the approach useful and choose to apply it at your own institutions. This would enable inter-institutional comparisons and create datasets that faculty and administrators can use to augment curricula and strengthen ethics literacy and professional development nationally. We believe studies like ours can be used to help identify key conceptual distinctions between different approaches to ethics education, which include ethics across the curriculum and ethics in the discipline. There are advantages and disadvantages to both, and which can be best implemented at any one institution depends upon the inventory of courses, interests and skill of the faculty, the disciplinary norms, how much space is available within already crowded curricula, and resources and support from faculty and administration. Extensions of this work can also be used to tease out what the individual and aggregate impacts are of ethics enculturation. For example, do students get a sufficiently strong dose of ethics through one course focused on the topic? And must ethics training be discipline specific, or is it best made broad spectrum by delivering it in an interdisciplinary setting? Or do students build up a strong ethical immunity only through successive boosters achieved by spreading explicit ethics education throughout the curriculum? And what are the challenges externally to achieving ethics inoculation?
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
watching.
Thanks for watching.
Be
Be
well,
well,
do better,
do better,
and stay
and
safe.
stay
Stay
safe.
safe.